you go more. And then
More?
Record.
More, give me more.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, well, we're a classy establishment, you see, so you know we like, you know, we show people the proper respect that they deserve, you know, like certain people we've just been talking about.
Indeedy.
Indeedy.
The off-air bits that you won't be able to hear.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Oh, we've lost Anthony for a moment.
He's done a runner.
He's done a runner.
Right, good.
He's got scared. That's what it was. Oh, he's had a bit of Dutch courage and he's come back. That's what it is.
Right.
He's Dutch courage. He's Dutch courage. Yeah, we might need some for today. So.
Oh, it's another thing that I'm thinking of bringing up for Friday, but we probably won't have time for it. Have you listened to the latest Wrestling Soup?
I have not yet.
Oh, they do like a little segment of sort of matching up which wrestler is this sound effect.
Oh no!
Hilarity ensues. I think
No.
I think there's like the Law and Order, you know, the clunk clunk. And,
oh god!
And Joey pipes up with Enzo Amore.
Oh my god. Is that cretin still a thing?
Please tell me one of them's a sunny fart. Please tell me one of them's a sunny fart.
Well, it ironically, you know the bog standard, porn star moaning quite loudly. You know when you open up like a video or anything, they go Paige, Sonny.
Oh no! Oh god!
In fact, let me search for it.
Oh, he's looking up our friends at Wrestling Soup here.
Wonders of Wrestling Soup.
Oh, that's Joey numbers for you right there.
Joey.
That's Joey. But yeah, Wrestling Soup is the inspiration for me getting into podcasting, so I have all the time in the world for them.
Oh, here you go. Found the.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Yeah. How about this one? What wrestler goes with this sound effect? Enzo Amore. S-A-W-F.
Oh god.
Never coming back.
Oh, if you in case this goes into the show, because I am recording, guys, by the way, please listen to Wrestling Soup, give them a follow and subscribe, whatever. They are fantastic. But yeah, this podcast you listen to, it's the R.A.D. live podcast. Random ass discussion where anything goes. I am the captain of the ship. We can't say allegedly anymore because I got told off last time, but some people may find me sexually arousing. But I'm definitely stupid. Stupid Sexy Flinders, Paul Flinders. And joining me this week we have the man most known for stowing away in places. Well, it depends on your viewpoint. He's either a stowaway or he's very punctual. It's Lewis Ogden.
How's we doing?
He's doing fine.
Yeah, very good.
That shows someone doesn't listen to the Phoenix pod still.
Another podcast, another fucking rinsing.
Well, the rinsing's not completely on you today, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Fucking hell.
We'll find out later. And the other voice you can hear is the Dark One himself. It's Anthony Dark.
Oh, wow.
Dark Lord.
These nicknames are getting better. Personally, I feel like they are getting better because, let's be honest, this Not Daz was a great start. I really like that one. Yeah. And then we went to the Master of Boys, and I thought, fucking hell, this is taking a deep dive, isn't it?
I could have gone cheap and gone for the upside down face again, but I thought, no, I won't. I'll try and come up with something.
Upside down face. There's been many a famous upside down face. Tim Howard was one. God bless him.
That's true.
God bless him. He's not dead. He's very much still alive. Tim Howard's still alive as far as I'm aware. As of this recording, he is still alive. So if anything happens between now and it comes out, I'm so sorry.
I've got a good one for the next episode, which I'll keep in my head until then. And I don't know how offended you're going to be, so.
Me? Yeah. You've heard me speak on these podcasts before. I literally do not give two shits.
Fair play. I'll put that in the bucket for
I was thinking you could have gone the latest breakout star from TikTok.
Oh, absolutely, yes. The most recently viral sort of thing. More viral than COVID, it appears.
Let me tell you a story of my Tuesday afternoon and evening.
Yeah, let's start out with this with our Anthony's personal success. Crack on, sir. Crack on.
Well, it took a good portion of an hour to do this 18-second-ish clip sort of thing. And post it. Normally, on average, I get around 600-700 people watching it. So it gets to 200 after about an hour or two, which is expected because obviously it picks up at the end of the day. So it gets to around 4 o'clock and I see that it's got to 1,000. And I thought, okay, I've had a 4,000 viewer before. And then it kept going up. And then it kept going up. So at 5 o'clock, it was round about 1,000. By 6 o'clock, it was around 10,000. And then another half an hour later, it was at 20. And then it just slowed down a bit. And when I woke up this morning, it was at 40,000.
Awesome.
Hellfire.
It is currently standing at 42k.
Coxie, Booker, if you're listening, give that man some merch, put a t-shirt on and make him do every skit wearing it.
Standing at, hang on a minute, standing at 671 likes. This time yesterday, I had 5 o'clock yesterday, I had 62 followers. I currently stand at 195, so a bit of a steep jump, really.
That is quite a big jump there. Well done. Just for the record, I will apologise to the listeners and to Coxie, who will be editing this. If you can hear my cat, she's a little cow, and she's just got into season. So if you can hear that, that is what you can hear.
Randy bugger.
She's
just a cat-cow hybrid.
Absolutely. Why not?
Mew.
Why not? Mew. Yeah.
Meow.
Meow. Meow. Meow. Meow. But yeah, that was Anthony's midweek foray onto social media. And
who'd have thought so many people would be interested in me acting like a fucking fuckwit? You know what I mean?
Oh, there's a gentleman falling down the stairs. Let's watch this.
You know what? I've noticed a trend that the ones that get the most views and most likes are the ones where I get hurt. So I'm thinking, next one, I'm just going to have the wife punch me in the face and see what that does. And judging by her reaction, it's probably going to do quite fucking well.
Oh, dear. But yeah, that's. I wish I could say. We had a little bit of success, haven't we, on our Phoenix pod, but not like that. So well done.
Yeah, just give me a shirt or something, and I'll plug this thing to the end of the earth.
Absolutely. Speaking of, I might need plugging actually. Is a little video that I'm planning to do in the next few weeks. which I will plug. I will plug now, just so you know, it's at the beginning of the episode. I am planning on doing an exercise video.
Ooh, Mr. Motivator.
It's not Mr. Motivator, but he's a gentleman and a scholar, that man. It's going to be the Max and Paddy released it's an entertaining DVD. It's an exercise DVD called The Power of Two, and it is Max and Paddy in character. And it's a full segment. I've seen it before, once, admittedly, very long time ago. And it is an actual music. It's an actual video, but it's funny, really funny. So as we were bouncing ideas around like we Lewis and Coxie do, I was sort of like, well, do you know what? I'll do the video. I'll do it on video and record it just for the giggles, upload it and see what happens. And that is coming in the next few weeks. I just need to look at what I need. It probably just be like a couple of bottles and stuff like that. And the best thing about it is there may be a bonus video. If that one does well, I will announce it here. If that video does well, I will do the bonus Peter Kay as Brian Potter doing the wheelchair exercise video that's on there as a bonus.
And if you're wondering where we're going to get the wheelchair from, well... Let's just say there's going to be a few disappointed individuals at Blackpool. Saying that, you can just pick one up round the corner nowadays. Like trolleys. You ever just walk around the corner and there's a trolley? There's always a trolley. Everywhere I look now, there's a trolley. And living in Penwitham, there was nothing like that, ever. Like, you see the odd sock on a fence. That was it. Oh, glove or a sock, usually a sock, and the odd pair of shoes up in the rafters. But I've never seen trolley. And the thing is, when I walk to work, it's the same trolley. I know it's the same trolley. It's the same type from the same place. But it's in different places. So I'm wondering the motivation of someone to pick it up and move it 15 feet down the road and then leave it. And then for someone else to come along and move it another 15 feet and just keep going. And I just wonder why people are just wheeling this trolley further in different directions other than to just confuse me, probably. They probably looked out the window in the morning and gone, oh, that bold bastard's out again. Let's fuck with him and move that trolley.
I was about to say it's probably sort of like a a member of Neighbourhood Watch just sort of like notice that you've noticed said trolley and just sort of like, I know what we'll do. We'll fuck with him.
Yeah, absolutely. In Blackpool, that actually could be somebody's daily commuter. Possibly, just scooting down the road on it.
In Blackpool, it counts as an Uber, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. It's a mode of transport, that thing, in Blackpool. Jesus Christ. If it's got four wheels and it moves, fucking hell, you can steal it.
It's a good business. Maybe we should get into the lost art of taxiing and just not pushing drunk people in trolleys around. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? What a way to get home.
Plot twist, we always take them to the wrong direction because we're lost.
We always take them to Hull. Hull.
Fucking hell, this fare's extortionate. Jesus Christ. Been here for 3 hours now.
I'm getting that sea breeze again I got 6 hours ago. Funny you mentioned that.
There's a big tall thing over there with lights on. Is it the tower? No, it's the Humber Bridge.
That looks like the London. Hang on a minute. You've been to the White Cliffs of Dover. Well, there you go. You'll be able to taste them by the time we've finished.
Fucking hell. Oh God, I completely forgot what we started off with on there. Oh yeah, that was it. Wheelchairs, yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Anthony did that one just for the complaints. Anthony, yeah, Anthony Dark. That's the name you need.
What have I done now?
In case we're going to offend somebody at some point on this podcast, so you can have that one. Me and Lewis will find our own.
The problem is, right, and it'll lead me on to something in a minute, that we need to learn that the two least powerful words in an argument are "I'm offended."
Absolutely.
The amount of times... I'll tell you a funny story when I was in sixth form, because back in the old teenage years of the upside down face man, I was a magician to pass the time. Got paid quite handsomely for it, and it was around the time where that fake psychic Darren Brown,
yeah,
that's the one, yeah, that bell end. And he was out, and he was quite popular. And there was a girl in my sixth form. I won't name her, but she. I'm so happy I offended her. We were in like a form room. We're having a chat, and he looked to me and go, "Oh, what do you think of that Darren Brown?" I said, "He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's scamming people, etc., etc." Thought nothing of it. People looked a bit, taken aback by it because they all thought it was fucking wonderful because they're gullible cunts. And I got home, got on the Facebook, and one of the guys from my form said, "I think you need to apologise to something because you really upset her." I was like, "Why?" "Oh, because she really likes Darren Brown, and you said that." And I said, "I couldn't give a fucking rat's arse monkeys what she thinks. I'm happy. I'm happy she believes what she believes, but as long as she knows she's wrong, it's fine with me." And I, honestly, I do not care about offending people. You're offended. You have your own opinion. Good.
Congratulations,
great.
you have feelings and are
I'm
passionate about something. Okay,
I'm not going to change my way of view. I'm not going to.
No.
I'm offended. Being offensive shouldn't be a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Causing offence shouldn't be an offence, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, end of the day, right? If you're to say you're offended, essentially means you do not have a way of retorting. You do not have a way of arguing your point. And just to say, "Oh, sorry, I'm so offended," because that's the argumentative H-bomb of nowadays, isn't it? It's the words "I'm offended," because you're like, shit, where are they going to go with this? Then you sort of you almost have to backpedal. It's like, no, why should you? Why should you have a valid point? You don't have a right to dislike something. You have a right to voice an opinion, whether you like it or not is your prerogative. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can be offended by it. That's fine, but give me a decent argument as to why I'm wrong. Why my point of view is so abhorrent that you feel negatively towards me rather than the subject matter. You know what I mean? It's one of them. Anthony's right.
It's particularly in sort of like, with sort of like stand-up comics. Maybe they'll say sort of like, jokes that are sort of like a little bit risque. And, so many people will get fucking triggered. It's like, guys, you do realise it's comedy. Like, some people, like, you go to a stand-up gig, you're not going to take every single thing that he said seriously.
You're there to have a laugh. It's a comedy. You're not there to...
exactly.
It's not question time.
Exactly.
This is it.
But the fact that so many people get that triggered over something that, for quite a majority of people, will make them laugh, and it's not as if they're pushing an agenda. It's not as if they're fucking campaigning for something. That's just part of stand-up. And
end of the day,
that's just the fucking tip of the iceberg. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, it is. It really is. You could go into a massive deep dive on this. I mean, it's like the problem about a joke is normally someone is the punchline. Yeah. And it's been that way since day dot. You know what I mean? Unless like even for example, the old-fashioned line one that when someone says to me, "Am I joking?" and I always say no. If I was joking, I always say a horse walks into a bar, and the barman behind the bar says, "Why the long face?" You know what I mean? I say that as I say, "Are you joking?" Well, if I was joking, I would say that. But the thing is, though, even in that little example, the joke is at the expense of the person walking into the bar. So that's the basis of comedy. There's always the punchline. The punchline normally is at somebody's expense. And that's been since the dawn of time. But for some reason, the past 20 years, if you don't like being at the receiving end of that punchline, you can now get that person as well, to use a modern terminology, cat fuck off. To use a modern terminology,
cat fuck off. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if that person was called Cat, they would essentially what's what they do, because it's a cancel culture nowadays. People are cancelling people because they don't like what is being said. Instead of putting, right, what people should be doing is, right, that is your viewpoint, and I respect that, but here is why you are wrong. That's fine.
Or literally like a case of, okay, you don't agree with said thing. I can respect that, but if you're that offended about it, don't fucking watch it, or don't ingest whatever medium this message is being broadcasted to.
Absolutely. I mean, the type of jokes
that's one of the things with sort of like, like parental guidance and sort of like, stuff like that. If you're that set on your child not watching something, listening to something, reading something, you just either you get rid of it.
Yeah, you don't give them access to it.
You don't have it in your household. It's like, just because you yourself are offended to something doesn't mean that 99.9% of the entire rest of society is going to be offended by it.
Yeah, that's the way the society is going nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, if one person, say for example, cabbages, if someone is offended by cabbages, one person, then a whole investigation has to happen around cabbages, why they're offensive. And then they have to go to like a fucking panel or something like that, where they all sit round and ask why a cabbage is offensive. Why is it okay to watch a cabbage? Why isn't it to look at a cabbage? What's so offensive about cabbages? If they come to the decision that no, because one person doesn't like a cabbage, they get rid and they go, it's their human right, get rid of it. Everyone has to lose the cabbages. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I know cabbages is ridiculous, but you get my point. It's it's almost like a small amount of people like have. I know what I'm trying to say. It's a small amount of people sort of like are offended.
Well, okay,
the majority suffer.
It's the bellends who get offended on behalf of other people. I don't know.
There is that.
Them arseholes say, I'm offended for. I don't know why I'm doing an Australian accent. Maybe because Australia just comes naturally. That I don't know. There we go. I've offended Australians. Come at me.
Hey.
Okay.
No,
They said something about you. Did they? I don't care. Yeah, but I'm offended for you.
It's like, well,
right.
Yeah, I don't give a shit, so why are you getting so offended about it?
Yeah.
That's just sort of like, if you're offended yourself, just say that you find it offensive. Don't say that you're offended on behalf of whoever, because whoever it might be might not share the same fucking viewpoint.
This is it.
I'll tell you.
I mean, go on, man.
I'll tell you a catalyst of sort of like, around this, which is perfect. Throughout sort of like lockdown, or like particularly sort of like recently through lockdown, I've been watching a lot of classic Doctor Who, and I've recently got into sort of like, well, not recently, I'm about 3/4 of the way through sort of like the Tom Baker era, so sort of like mid 70s going into the 1980s, and there's a lot of those stories that are sort of like quite sort of, well, I wouldn't say sort of like properly dark, but sort of like have this freaky horror aspect to. And you go back and look at these sort of like, these people, these self-righteous, like old women, like freaking, I believe her name's Mary Whitehouse, who's just basically sort of like trying to get put in place that sort of like, all these programs, Doctor Who, it's not appropriate for children. And I love it because there was, I think it was the script editor at the time, said in like an interview, it was like, well, it's not a children's TV program. It's not made by the children's television department. It's made by the dramatic department at the BBC. And then it's literally just a case of sort of like, if you don't want your children watching it, don't let them watch it. It's just sort of like, just because you don't like something doesn't entirely mean that sort of like, I mean, and it speaks volumes to sort of like the popularity of Doctor Who at the time, that sort of like, they they didn't start losing millions upon millions of fans until well into the late 1980s. So it just shows that sort of like, you know, that kind of mindset wasn't like a lot of the general public who were watching it didn't necessarily agree with it.
This is it. I mean, people were still getting offended back then. People would be offended about things. You know, they would take offence to this, that, and everything. At the end of the day, people have different thresholds for different things, and they always have and they always will.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because again, it boils down to social media. Now, 90s, even early 2000s, if someone took offence to something, right? Look at Jim Davidson, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect example, right? Jim Davidson. Late 80s, all the way through the 90s, early 2000s, that man was probably one of the most highest paid celebrities on British television.
Yeah,
you know, he had Big Break. He had Jim
I can remember
Davidson's
Big Break. Yes.
Yeah, Big Break. Jim Davidson's generation. Yeah. Come on, Jimmy. But you had Jim Davidson got the fucking Generation Game. Things like that. You know, he had big shows, and he was a big name, and he had a reputation behind him where he had sort of like, he was right wing leading. He was sort of like had offensive humor on his shows, things like that. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. As soon as social media became a thing and got a foothold, and people went, for example, one person I go, oh, I don't like that Jim Davidson because he says X, Y, and Z. That filters down to the next person. They'll share it or they'll take their own viewpoints. And, do you know what? Jim Davidson is a bit of a twat, isn't he? Next thing you know, you don't hear Jim Davidson.
No.
But all because of social media, because it spreads like wildfire. People are offended, and then people go, oh, hang on a minute, I'm offended, actually. When they actually aren't offended.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, that person's offended, and they'll think about it going, oh, yeah. Well, in reality, you could have gone on with your life and think, oh, Jim Davidson's on there's Big Break, awesome, it's one of my favourite programmes. Then realise, well, hang on a minute, it's actually an offensive shit, because that person didn't like what you said.
There's far too much of sort of like, you know, people seeing something like a flash on sort of like social media. They'll look at it, but they won't actually sort of like think about it. They won't process it. They'll just instantly go into sort of like, you know, having an opinion of it without researching the fact beforehand.
Yes.
Which
it's like when you, it's like
too much.
It's like commenting on something on Facebook on a news story without reading the news story.
Yeah.
Exactly that. You know, you're like, it's like, you know, COVID's been like found in the new strain doesn't work sort of thing, and it's like, look at on the thing, and you look at it, it's like, actually, it does if you read the story. Yeah, it's one of them, but and then you comment say no, but yeah, it's stupid. People shouldn't get offended so easily. Again, like I say, if you got an argument against it, great. State your case. Don't just be offended because someone else is offended or it's a cool thing to do. Like, there's a lot of people bandwagon what you tend to find. Again, it's another product of social media. We'll bandwagon together.
Yep.
There's one
case in point, the name of the group that we've got open.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Well, I've kind of changed the sort of thing on whatchamacallit from I know it from, it's from Blazing Saddles, but I know it from Botchamania. So never mind that shit, here comes Mongo.
Yep.
But I've changed the name Mongo, and we'll touch on that later.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought that would be a perfect transition.
Well, we can do it. I think someone's chomping at the bit a little bit. Speaking of people bandwagoning, Anthony, kick it off.
Oh, God, right. So, about a week ago now, when was it? This famous...
About 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle... Or to give them the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, aren't they? Yes, to give them
Harry's still a prince. He's still allowed to be called prince, but he's not allowed to have his Royal Highness.
Right, so they did this interview with Oprah, and this woman has chomped my, she's chomped many a man's gears, I imagine, but she's chomped mine for all the wrong reasons. She seems very, not all there, shall we say. And I love to take a lovely, funny, positive, hashtag please stop it, so it's not doing his thing again. I find it really hard to be funny with this woman simply because I think she is a master manipulator. I think she's very clever as well. But I also think she's a monumental arsehole, and I'm going to go into why. And now, I didn't want to just go flapping into the hashtag please stop and just talking about this interview, because I believe it's probably a long line of lots of incidents in this woman's life that have led her to this very moment, shall we say. So let me get started.
Stage is yours, sir.
So she's an American woman. Her mother and dad divorced when she was quite young. I think mother still is in contact with her. Her dad has, I don't know, he was in marriage before. She has half siblings. Interesting. Her dad and her half siblings want nothing to fucking do with her. Keep that in your brains. And that's not me saying. Gotta say, this information is all online. Just Google the bitch's fucking name and you'll come up with it. So her dad was a lighting director in a few movies, which is why she got into TV herself. I am glossing over a lot of things here. There is a video of her, a young Meghan Markle, on a Nickelodeon show, saying things such like, I don't think it's, this is a quote, I don't think it's right for kids to grow up thinking these things, that just mum does everything. I don't know. She was 11 at the time she said that, so she thinks she knows it fecking all by this time anyway. She was a, quote, theatre nerd. She's called herself a theatre nerd. Again, she likes things being drawn to her, I'm getting. She worked at the US Embassy in Argentina for a time as well when she was 20 years old. This is when she wanted a career in politics. She was quoted in 2013 saying, I thought for sure I would still have a career in politics. So that lasted a long time because she ended up as a fucking briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. So well done there. That worked out great. Again, she's trying lots of different things. This is when I can't remember how old she was. Was it the same year? It was the same year that she was talking about politics as well. And this is what gets me about, because even now, she's trying to play victim. Listen to what this woman said about being on Deal or No Deal. Now, it's very not like the Deal or No Deal we had in the UK. It's they didn't have boxes, they had briefcase, and there was lots very attractive apart from this one. There was call a spade a spade. Very attractive young women. I don't know, some of them may have been like 40, I don't know, I don't care. And they'd open the briefcases. There's someone who pick the briefcase number and they open that briefcase and you lose whatever that amount is, or you gain whatever that amount is, whatever. And this is what she had to say about her time on Deal or No Deal. I was the ill-fated number 26, which for some reason no one would ever choose. I would end up standing up there forever in these terribly uncomfortable and inexpensive 5-inch heels, just waiting for someone to pick my number so I could go and sit down. You might not think that's alone, that statement alone would be anything, but taking in mind what she's recently said, she really likes playing the victim in these things, doesn't she?
Yeah, I just want to emphasise what I'm doing here. I'm playing the world's smallest violin.
Yeah. Well, I thought you might have been sort of rubbing your fingers together, like, But I bet the check was a bit more comforting, wasn't it, rather than the 5-inch heels? I bet that made a really comfortable sort of cushion. You know, them heel cushions that you can get for shoes. I bet that made a really nice one.
I was going to do sort of like that bit in The Simpsons where Principal Skinner's up on the stage and he's sort of like doing that. He's sort of like the taxes. The hand thing means the taxes.
She then goes on starring. She has acting credits. She won a main part in Get Him to the Greek, Remember Me, The Candidate. She was also in Horrible Bosses for a time. TV shows like General Hospital, CSI New York, 90210, The League of Castles, and then she was in Suits, from what she's mainly known for.
I thought you were about to say The Crown.
Fuck.
Now, right, before we clarify this, I'm a Derry boy. We're not big fans of the royal family over in Northern Ireland, as you can possibly imagine. I don't know why. But despite my semi-not liking, I feel awful for the Queen. I feel awful for Philip and William and Kate in this situation, because they've been absolutely railroaded by this bitch in a ginger piece. So she then goes... Once she's done that film and she realises she's not good at that, she goes on to start doing calligraphy for people. And she said, I think handwritten notes are a lost art form. Well, of course they are, aren't they? Fucking hell. When was the last time we all wrote a little note? She always had I can't read that word. She's using fancy words now. She got Robin Thicke and Paula Patton's weddings invitations. She did them. Fantastic. And then she moves on to teach bookbinding. Again, this is a woman who's trying lots of different things, find out she's not very good at them, playing the victim, blaming other people. Are you noticing a trend here, people? She then met her first husband, Trevor Engelson, in 2004. They dated for 6 years and then they tied the knot in Jamaica. Diddly diddly do. And this marriage lasted about 9 years. Meghan went to do her acting career, and he did something else, can't remember what. Again, I'm researching her, not him. Couldn't give a shit. He's called Trevor, for fuck's sake. No offence to Trevor, people, but come on, you're not very interesting at the end of the day. So while she was in Suits, she obviously stayed in Canada for a while, diddly diddly do. She obviously mixed it with the movers and shakers, so to speak. In Canada, she's got a lifestyle blog called The Tea. Again, this is a woman who fucking loves this spotlight on her so much that when she does one thing and she get that spotlight and that spotlight fades, she thinks, oh, I'm going to do this other thing, and then the spotlight's on her again, and then something else, and then something else, and then something else. There's a few other. She also designs clothes as well. Are we recognising a trend in this woman? For fuck's sake! Yeah. She's friends with Serena Williams. For fuck's sake! No offence to Serena Williams, you're a fantastic tenor player, but you've got the personality of a shrew. She was rumoured to be dating Ashley Cole before she met Prince Harry. Ashley Cole.
Fucking Ashley Cole. Now, I wonder what...
Yeah. That's a good track record.
I mean, I wonder what attracted her to Ashley Cole. I wonder if it's his track record with being faithful to women. Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe it's his stunning personality. Or it could be his fucking kilometre thick wedge of a frigging wallet. Perhaps, I don't know.
Now we've gone the background of the arsehole. I mean the woman. I've got two main gripes with the interview. Also, if you watch the interview as I did today, as I have watched clips before, but I tried to watch it. Notice how I haven't, because I turned off a particular bit. I will get to that. She never ever maintains true eye contact with Oprah. Every time Oprah answers a question, she looks off to the side as if to think of an answer. It's every question. Like she can't answer a straight question and look at Oprah directly. Her answers are very sound like they're written for her, like she's rehearsed them, like she's rehearsing lines. I do genuinely think she's rehearsed this. I do genuinely believe, deep down, I believe 99% of it is made up. But I am going to go into the first main argument was this allegation of racism. I can't remember what the exact quote was. The quote was Archie's skin colour. One of the families were worried about how dark his skin would be. I believe the quote was to be completely there. I believe 100% that didn't happen. I don't believe that happened for 1 minute. Again, as much as I hate's a strong word, dislike the royal family, I don't think any of them would be stupid enough to say that to a woman who's very outspoken, who they knew would probably blab. End of the day, I genuinely do not think that happened. They also failed to name that person as well.
That's what got to me. It's like, if
you've gone that far,
serious allegation,
name him. That's what I mean. Go out there and you're on TV.
You've got the platform for it.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. You just.
It doesn't seem to be sort of like a case of you wanting to hold anything back.
Well, this is it. And I mean, you tell you, someone in the royal family has said this, and you think, so you're potentially saying that the Queen could have said this shit, right? Well,
it was probably Philip.
It was probably Philip, if it was.
At the end of the day, they've actually ruled out, they've actually said it's not the Queen or Prince Philip. What they did say was, if they said they wouldn't name him because I think that would be very damaging to them. Harry even said that a quote, that conversation I'm never going to share. At the time, it was awkward. I was a bit shocked. You're damaging them already by not saying who it is. The interview itself is damaging.
Yeah.
Name that person. If you're going to make an allegation like that of racism, if you are brave enough to say it in front of the waking world, and you have the nerve to say it's not damaging, name them.
I will give my 2 cents about it. About the whole thing. I realise you're not at the end of it, Anne, but I'll give my 2 cents. I'll give my 2 cents worth now. I think everybody realises that the royal family are not this fucking squeaky clean Rue Britannia sort of like, pedestal that most countries around the world would probably assume that they are under.
Mm-hmm. But who the fuck is?
But yeah. And when I heard the news about like Harry and Meghan wanting to sort of like get out of the royal family, they wanted to go off and sort of like, as they said at the time, they wanted to go out, they wanted to do their own stuff with their lives, not under sort of like the royal family banner. I thought, fair enough. You want to go and do that, you want to do it on your own, fair enough.
Amen, yeah.
If they had stuck to it. But the fact is, they haven't. It's literally the proverbial thing of sort of like trying to what's the saying? It's like trying to take your cake and eat it.
Have your cake and eat it.
Have your cake and eat it. Yeah. And as soon as sort of like you hear about this sort of like this platform, sort of like, them wanted to do this fucking, interview with Oprah, who, let's be honest, fucking Oprah Winfrey is a fucking shark for anything like this. She fucking jumps at fucking chances like this.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you? Because it's put her in the spotlight as well. And I think the convenience of them all being friends, by the way.
But yeah. Well, and then like literally the case of sort of like, spilling the beans about this, spilling the beans about that. It's just sort of like, you don't have the right to be saying this stuff.
No.
It's like you forfeited your rights. You're saying this. You're saying you're going to do one thing and then doing another thing the next. It's just sort of like, and I will say again, I realise the royal family are not fucking squeaky clean, but you can't. if you're gonna fucking go, just do it fucking silently. What? This just screams fucking, oh, look at me, get me to, as you've said quite clearly, documenting her entire, life in the spotlight. And
it's a build-up of a pattern, and if this was the first time she's drawn attention to herself, and if it was the first time she's been so outspoken about certain things, fair enough. This is a pattern that
she's got a track record.
Yeah,
she's got a fucking track record.
It says a lot when her own dad and siblings want nothing to fucking do with her. Her friends, so-called friends, have cited numerous fallouts with her.
Yeah.
Even her co-stars on Suits, some of them have fortunately come out to support her, have said, I've called this interview insignificant because it is that.
She's a master manipulator.
She is.
She's a fucking master manipulator, because the thing is, I've not watched the whole interview. I've just seen sort of like clips here and there. But it's all about her.
It is.
It's all about her. And it's nothing to do with it.
And she loves every
Harry.
moment to that.
It's nothing to do with Harry. It's just sort of like, I would like to say that I sort of like I'd to feel a little bit sorry for him, but he's done stupid shit in the past, like fucking dressing up as a Nazi. So he's, for me, I think he's a few berries short of a fruit salad up there, to be honest with you.
I just want to go into, well, you're absolutely perfectly correct there. I just want to go on to a couple more points, and
go ahead.
Feel free to. The second point is when I switched off at the interview when she cited her mental health issues. Now, a very touchy subject for me, very subject close to my heart, something I feel very, 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 very strongly with, and this looks awful on her because either she's lying or Harry is a dick. Now, Harry has his pockets in numerous mental health charities, including Mind, Heads Together, Royal.uk. You can have a look at that. Oh, that's Heads Together. Young Minds to do that as well. Plethora, absolute plethora of them. Now, if my wife was having problems and I had them resources at my disposal, I would move heaven and earth to get her straight and set her right. Why didn't he do that? Why did it get to...
Because probably he's got no backbone.
Which makes me think either he's a dick and didn't want to help his wife, or she's lying. Either way, I feel this bit was very rehearsed, shall we say that bit. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say she's 100% lying. God forbid. I'll never ever say someone's 100% lying. But either she's lying or Harry hasn't helped her. Last point, and I love that I caught this bitch out on this. Oh, by the way, before she starts claiming all this other stuff, there's only one person being investigated by Buckingham Palace for bullying, and that's her. And it caused a few Palace staff to leave about 2 years ago now. The Buckingham Palace are looking into it. So well done, Megan. You've shone the spotlight on yourself there for all the wrong reasons. We all know what will happen there. Now, not the last point she makes very points, but I generally do switch off at this one because I do. It's all lies, half of it. It's all lies, half of it.
When you got to the point in her life of sort of like wanting to get into politics, that sort of like shone a great big massive spotlight on. It was like, there you go.
Well,
that's the jump in the shark moment for me.
Yeah, but you were saying about her career. Like I say, I wanted to say this before. But you were saying about, obviously, Ant was talking about her career in the spotlight. Like, he pointed this. Well, hang on a minute. Wasn't her career chasing the fucking spotlight?
Exactly. This is it.
It was chasing the spotlight. It wasn't. She wasn't in it. She might have just had one foot in the spotlight, but she was never fully in the spotlight. Never.
I don't know if she's still in Suits now. Is she? I don't think she is now.
No.
Right. So that'll bring me onto my other point in a minute. I do want to come on to this bit where she mentioned about Archie getting a title.
Oh, now then.
Now, so I am not as clued up as I used to be on all this. But she quotes some things, and some of it is it is true, but she leaves out the last bit. You know when you say half a sentence and it can change the meaning in the next bit?
Yes.
This is what I mean. Now, I did some right royal digging on this. Get it? Right royal digging. Now, King George V in 1917 granted the style of Royal Highness and the title of Prince or Princess to the children of the sovereign's male line grandchildren, and the eldest son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales. Now, while further letters that expanded on by the Queen in 2012, this was to include all the children of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
So this means that Archie and any other child of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, are not entitled to bear the style during this is the important bit, during the Queen's reign. Now, full stop, finish there. However, this is the bit Meghan didn't mention, and quite right too, because that would mean she didn't have a room to argue. Should and when Prince Charles become king, which we assume he will sometime in the future, the current letters that patent from King George V in 1917 would entitle Archie to the title of Prince. But in this interview, she claims he will not get that title. She makes reference to these letters, and she's told that changes will be made to remove that entitlement as part of Charles's reported plans for a slimmed down monarchy. She said that this is because Archie was mixed race. Right. Let me just calm this woman down. I don't think Charles would do that, because I think he has respect for his mother, he has respect for his lineage. But it's interesting, she makes referencing to the 1917 letters, doesn't mention the 2012 letters, and doesn't mention the fact that when Charles becomes king, Archie will get that title.
You see, I must have missed that bit, because I had a different viewpoint of that. So thinking that when they split off from the main part of the royal family, didn't they lose any rights and privileges to titles just there and then anyway? Because they're not officially parts of the royal family, are they?
They stood down. Not now. They stood down from royal duties.
Royal duties, yeah.
Right.
So they weren't doing the things that the royals did anyway. However, at the end of the day, they've whizzed off for this lovely life away, which is fair enough to them. I can understand perfectly why you wouldn't want the spotlight here. As a royal, it's very, very toxic sometimes, the media, and I completely understand that.
For the record, they moved to Canada to stay out of the spotlight, but then they moved to fucking Hollywood.
But this is my point. They've moved to Hollywood, and now they've done this interview, citing all these things for some reason. Now they're over there, and I praised the palace and Her Majesty the Queen, Prince Philip, Prince William, and Princess Kate for not responding to these horrible things and trying to solve them behind closed doors, doing it the right way. In that interview as well, they're all too happy to show Oprah around their new house with all their chickens and their new life, and they're very, very happy. Again, I've not qualms with that. But you're away from a life that you didn't want. You're away from a life you didn't care about. And yet you have to come on TV and shout all these allegations out. And you've not named anyone. You've not said anyone said this. You've just left it out there. So it could be anyone. But on the other hand, it could be no one as well. And I do believe that it is no one. I believe this is all for attention. Yes, it's not. She wasn't getting paid for it. Good, but she doesn't need to get paid for it, does she now? Because her name's already out there. Her name's there. That's what she wants. She wants people talking about her.
Yep.
I also just add very, 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 very quickly before you go on. How many interviews and news crew did Kate Middleton have when she went to the Sarah Everard vigil a few weeks ago? How many people did she have protecting her? How many interviews did she do after saying how pleased she was that she went there? How many interviews did she say where she was standing up? No, she went there, she paid her respects, she left. People didn't even recognise her. And that is what should be representing the royal family, not a two-bit B-list celebrity and a B-list actress in a B-list show who's not even in yet anymore. So I also truly believe that she married Harry for her career as well, because let's be honest, what was really going for her? She had nothing. She had no acting job left. She had nothing going for her. She's tried everything under the book and it's not worked. Marry a prince now, hello you. That's income for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman has a track record of fucking about, getting attention, or trying to get attention at least. And I think people should take what she says with a pinch of salt. I think we should move on, leave them to their shit life.
Yep.
And hopefully Harry wakes up one day, divorces her, and there's somewhere in that contract that means he doesn't have to give her any more penny. I hope Harry comes back and assumes his royal duties. I hope he makes peace with his brother and his sister-in-law. And I hope it's a happy ending for Harry. Meghan, on the other hand, fuck off. Please stop. There we go.
Yeah.
What gets me a couple... Go, mate.
No. You're fine, because mine's sort of like more of a sort of like, focusing on the positives. So you have at it.
I've got a couple of negatives. It's like one of the ones for me is like, obviously you're saying that, well, she's saying that someone was obviously, blatantly fucking racist, in the royal family, being concerned about the colour of the child's skin. Now, what I want to know is she will not call that person out. Harry will not call that person out, right? But the palace is okay with Prince Andrew to be pointed out for basically child
abuse
shit, abuse and all that shit. But that's okay to be into the ether. That's fine. But someone that calls somebody a name or has a really bad attitude towards somebody of a different skin colour, not as bad as that. Worse than that, maybe, and you won't name them. Doesn't make sense.
No,
it doesn't make sense on that level.
Watch the interview and watch that woman's face. And if you can tell me you believe every word she says, I'm sorry, you're a cretin, and you get sucked in by her playing of the race card, which she does so beautifully, by the way.
Yeah,
and then she plays the mental health card. She plays the mental.
She's just a yeah, she's a proper fucking shit stirrer.
Yeah,
she's done it to her own family.
Yeah, and the best thing
before this.
The thing that made me go absolutely start laughing at this interview, right, was how she didn't know anything about the royal family and how she was so naive and the goings on of what royal life would entail, Yet one of her mates was in on the fucking royal family and couldn't tell her a single thing about it.
Mm.
How did she meet Prince Harry? It was at a party. She met the Queen and then met Harry. She met the Queen before she met Harry, but she had no idea what being in the royal family entailed. Nothing, nada. Didn't know shit. Never heard anything about the royal family anywhere.
Of course she didn't.
Absolute fucking bullshit. Absolute bollocks. Yep. Do not buy that for 1 second, right? Mm-hmm. That's like me saying, the Emperor of Japan. I bet he has a lot of work on his plate. I wonder if he has, and his family have lots of public engagements and have lots of obligations to have. Gee, just on a wild guess, maybe he's very busy all the time, as is his family, and has certain, like you say, obligations, public interest, public opinion, all pointed at, all the cameras are pointed at him in Japan, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like our royal family. Same as over there. Same as like any leader in the world anywhere. But she wasn't aware of that.
She wasn't. She wasn't.
Exactly. That was like you talking out your arse. I'm sorry, but no. I don't know what the pressures of the royal family would be. Fuck off.
I do
Literally
think
spend 5 minutes doing some research and you'd understand.
Yeah. She knows what she's doing. She's a master manipulator.
Yeah.
She's taking Harry for a ride. She knew about the royal family. She knew it was just another stepping stone for her career. But like I said, I am going to end on a positive note for Harry, not her. I wish her all the fucking worst in the world. I really, really do.
I've got a horrible thought that just hit me. I've just had a horrible thought. I just pause on that for 1 second, Anne. I do apologise, but I just need to get this out on the negative before you start on the positive.
Go on.
Right, and it's this. Do you think, obviously you're in that meeting, have you? Do you honestly think that Harry thought, well, Harry's mum was very famous and very popular. Maybe I could be something similar.
You know what? Oh, that's
she could be. She could be the second Diana.
Harry said that he was worried about history repeating itself. Here's the difference thing, Harry. People like Diana.
Yeah.
People will mourn Diana. No disrespect.
People did mourn Diana.
People did mourn Diana.
I just like to quote my nan every time the topic comes up. I think we all know that Harry isn't Charles's.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it's fucking obvious.
Because we've all watched the
It's the stereotypical toxic fucking relationship where the woman has the man wrapped around her little fucking finger.
Absolutely.
It's plain as fucking day. And
do you know what makes me laugh as well? People using the Crown as evidence to prove this, right?
Yeah.
What? It's fiction based on reality. That does not mean it's fucking evidence. It's ridiculous. Someone could get murdered outside my house, right? And I could draw a picture of it because here's the murder scene.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's like I said at the start of this whole thing. It's just sort of like we all realise the royal family isn't fucking squeaky clean.
No, they're not.
You can spot it a fucking mile off, but sort of like to get onto the positive sides, you hope Harry sees fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of the fucking royal family realise that it's all fucking her. It's not really him. And I think sort of like, well, you hope that sort of like a time will come, preferably sooner rather than later, that he will fucking realise that. And, if you want to sort of like get positives back in the royal family, look at what William and Kate are doing. Sort of like, they're getting along with stuff. They're just sort of like, Will is sort of like involved heavily with sort of like concussion protocols in football. I think it's concussion protocols in football.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
A big thing.
Yeah. Like he's one of the sort of like the leading, ambassadors for it. You've obviously got sort of like, Kate doing sort of like the things that she does. She doesn't do it with any sort of like fanfare. She does what's expected of her from the royal family. And
without complaining.
Yeah, without complaining. She realises her sort of like her job in the royal family, and she gets on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play to both of them.
Yeah.
And those are the people that sort of like, I don't want to say sort of like give the most attention, because obviously we fucking said that there's lots of the media that are fucking toxic, but let's just focus on sort of like the positive aspects of what they're trying to accomplish and how they're trying to portray the royal family in sort of like the modern day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
Amen to that, pal. Absolutely. And hopefully in a few months and whatever, this will be all blown over and no one will give a flying fuck about it.
I hope so, because I hope so. Right, next topic. Let's be happy. Next topic.
It very much seems to be sort of like the flavour of the quarter of the year or whatever.
Yeah, we're all back onto COVID vaccines now, aren't we? So it's one of them. But yeah, do you know what? All that talking there, it's made me very thirsty.
Ooh.
It has made me extremely thirsty, and It looks, I'm a lucky boy because a few weeks back, and I mean, I've teased it on a couple of Phoenix pods and what have you, but I have an old-fashioned, old-school R.A.D. taste test right in front of me. And
lucky listeners and viewers.
Absolutely, are you lucky people? Now we could do this on camera, which I'm going to remove my Union Jack that I have in the background for patriotic reasons, and I'm going to remove it so we can see my background. So therefore, you'll be able to see the actual bottle I'm drinking. So
like the set of a horror film back there.
Sir, I live in Blackpool. That's kind of
It actually looks like you haven't turned the green screen off.
Cheers. That's my home.
This is where he lives.
But yeah, I'll have you know this is a new build. But yeah, I've got the usual place that I get my drinks from. They've not really had much in there recently, and I saw these bad boys at 10 pence a bottle.
Is it home bargains by any chance?
It might be home bargains, yes.
Homeless.
Yes. Now we have homeless bargains, yes. Well, we have those sort of like two rules. If it's in home bargains and it's funky, I get it. I try it on the show. And if my mum gives it to me, I try it on the show. Them's the rules. We've had those for a long time. So I thought, I'll get these. I thought I'll get these. So I thought I got two of them to begin with, and then the next week later, he had another flavour, so I thought, go on, then I'll go for that one. So I'll go for that one first because it seems to be the most normal of the three. And these are, I can only describe, as I'm going to hold it up to the camera. And it is it's like tonic water, but with flavouring in them. Mm-hmm. Now, I quite like myself a bit of tonic water. I know, I'm weird. I like that. I like tonic water. I like bitter lemon.
It's refreshing in its little way. It's refreshing, I find.
It is. Fuck the gin off. I'll just have the tonic. But
good palate cleanser.
Absolutely. I might need a couple of them. But this one is by a company called Peter Spanton, or is it a guy? I don't know.
Probably a guy. If it's Peter, probably a guy. To be honest with you.
Yeah, you never know.
He's got probably a guy.
I'm going to name a company Peter.
He's got fermented barrels in the shed.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? It's one in his shed. Why not? But these are numbered. These are numbered. I've only got number 4, number 5, and number 9. So there must be a whole range. Ooh. And it says the number. I have number 5 here. It's lemongrass, superior tonic water. So, it's just literally tonic water. The ingredients are carbonated water, sugar, citric acid, just your bog sand and stuff, and quinine. So I won't get malaria. So that should be fun. No malaria for me.
We're not sponsored by the NHS, by the way.
Absolutely.
We're really not. Not that they're in a way to sponsor anyone at the minute, but okay.
Absolutely not. The NHS could sponsor us if they wanted, but
I really don't think they'd want to be honest with you.
No, they better not. They better not.
But
don't
get any donations off the government. Absolutely
not.
Would you like to know where all your furlough money's going?
Fuck's sake.
How do you think Lewis afforded his pub behind him?
But yeah, we've about to might as well open this up now. It's all these are like bottles, so it's no can opening, but hopefully you can hear that.
While you're doing that, speaking of pubs at home, have you seen those sort of like, those odd people here and there that have converted their like sheds into
my mate's got
their own little pubs?
It's great.
Oh,
I need one. I just have a lawn that's been hit by a broken lawnmower and basically mowed it. That's awesome. So I don't do things by half me. But yeah, I've opened this up now. I'm going to give it a bit of a sniff. Just smells like tonic water, if I'm brutally honest with you. I won't expect anything else, if I'm honest. So yeah, let's give it a go. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had lemongrass, so I don't know what I'm expecting.
St. John's ambulance is on standby. Don't try this at home, kids.
If this was my old mic, you'd hear it up the road. But hey, there we go.
I'm guessing it's going to be a less than a 5 out of 10.
Right. Well, actually, that's not bad.
What do you mean it's not bad? You literally almost spat it out. Oh, he's going in for second.
It's going for a second one. The quinine taste, it's quite sharp. I wasn't expecting it to be as strong. It's all right. I'm brutally honest with you, though. I would not choose it.
And
it's
this
not
is
too
the
bad.
most normal flavour, ladies.
Clearly.
By the way, this is the normal one. This is the lemongrass one. So that one's okay. I'm going to give that. Because I wouldn't choose it. I wouldn't go in the shop and go, right, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
5.
So it's okay. If someone gave me a bottle of it
middle
to
of the
drink.
road.
Middle of the road. If someone gave me that to drink, I wouldn't complain. This one, on the other fucking hand, is an interesting one. This is the number 4 in the range. And yeah, it's got all the same ingredients in it.
I've got a joke prepared for when you go to the final bottle.
Oh yes. But yeah, this is it.
He will fire.
So yeah, no, I did say this colour's like the first one has sort of like a gold colour on. This is like a brown colour. Now,
that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign, no. Anything brown normally isn't great, but if you can read that, Lewis.
Oh my!
Yes, God. I can. I believe it is chocolat, as they say in Francais.
It is. This is tonic water with chocolate in it. Chocolate flavouring.
Rather you than me.
Now, the one thing I think, you put things together. I can think of chocolate and chili. That works, So
yeah.
cheese and onion. Yeah, that works. Chocolate and quinine.
Well, you thought the quinine was sharp on the lemongrass.
Yeah, this one could be interesting. So we'll open this one up. So yeah, that's open. And this one's spilt over. Fantastic.
It's going really well, this, folks.
I've got a massive. This one's a lot stronger smelling. I can tell you now already. It's not even got it near my nose yet. So let's give it a go. Give it a bit. Oh shit!
It's interesting that you've gone with the number 4 first and not the number 9.
Well, number 9 is case of who the even fucking hell thinks of putting these two together worse than chocolate.
Psychopath.
The same people who come up with Pims.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, people who watch Wimbledon, tennis. People watch tennis. Them fuckers. That's what it is. You cunts on fucking Henman Hill or Murray Mountain, whatever pissing hell it's called. Fucking with your strawberries and cream.
Anyone for big stubbles?
You don't have any balls. It's okay. You can use mine.
It's okay. That's okay. Play with mine. See you down there. Ciao, guys.
Lewis's Cliff Richard is absolutely spot on.
I must say that was really bloody good, actually. It was like I was there with him.
By the way, thank you guys for putting this off for me anyway. So
you're welcome.
But yeah, I'm going to give it a go. It's very chocolatey taste, smelling even. Like Easter egg chocolate smelling. It's like a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
You mean like the cheap chocolate that ironically you get from Home Bargains?
Yeah, the Kinder ones, yes, that you get from Home Bargains, yes, that type. The really shit chocolate that's dead chemically, yes, that kind of smell. So yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go. Unnervingly, this has got little brown lumps in it.
Oh,
well.
No.
Oh,
no.
This could be fun. Here we go.
It's like the shit version of sort of like, the gold Smirnoff one.
Oh, no, he's dead.
Oh, that's thumbs down. Oh, God, the chocolate aftertaste as well. That's not fun. That is fucking disgusting.
Quick, get on the lemongrass again.
Podcast.
Yeah, I'm getting the lemongrass. Lemongrass, palate please. There we go. That is fucking amber nectar compared.
Fucking holy water.
Exactly. That shouldn't exist. That chocolate one should not exist. It is fucking disgusting. Now, bearing in mind, I don't like chocolate in liquid form as it is. I can't stand hot chocolate. Don't like it at all. I'm weird like that. So that is probably one of my personal, if you ask me, drink hell, that's it.
That or your the infamous what was the malt drink?
Mega Malt.
Mega Malt.
Oh.
Now then.
This is the question.
We really need to get some sort of spreadsheet with all these on, I feel.
I would say, by a skin of its teeth, that's better.
God, that's saying something.
Chocolate is, by the skin of its teeth, better.
Christ.
But Mega Malt is an abomination. You tried the other ones, didn't you? They were even worse. Yeah. But I remember getting the original Mega Malt that I actually gave a can to Coxie on the train to Manchester, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" It was disgusting. But yeah, we've got this one now. Now, I didn't know what this was until I asked our good friend Alan. And he gave me a not a pleasing sort of like answer, shall we say? So I'm going to hold it up now. Do you want to read that?
Cardamom pods, yeah, they're very nice. Well, when they're made correctly, of course.
Yeah,
I'm not in tonic water.
See, I'm not clued up on what cardamom is. So, is it spicy or is it?
I generally found in spicy-ish food, it's the more, yeah. It's more fragrant than spicy.
Something that you would normally. Is it like the sort of like the seeds that you would normally put in sort of like Indian takeout rice?
Yeah.
Is it something you blend into a drink?
No.
I would say so. No. It's more sort of like it would be better suited on sort of like a bowl of like spiced flowers and whatever.
It's like a menthol. It's like a menthol.
Yeah.
Thing.
No. That explains the colour anyway.
What number bottle is it? What number bottle is it? Is it for?
It's number 9.
2 number 9s. A number 9 large. Number 6 with extra tea.
Oh, I love San Andreas. I really do. It's the best GTA.
As soon as you said it's just sort of like, I've got number 4, number 7, and number 9, I was like, bing.
Yeah, had to be done. Big Smoke. Is it Big Smoke? Big Smoke's order. Yeah, Big Smoke's order for thingy. I love that. There's just on the odd thing. There's a little like cheaty thing that you can do on the beginning of San Andreas, and if you play San Andreas, you can do this actually. What you can do is you go obviously the first part of it, you kill a few drug dealers in it, get the money, and then when you get access to the middle of the town, you can go to a betting shop, save your game before you do this, go to the betting shop, bet all your money on the highest odds horse, and keep doing it until it wins. Obviously, if it fails, just load your game. Next thing you know, you can do it as many times as you want. Before I ended up doing Ryder's first mission, I think I had around about 20 million.
Oh.
So I broke the game, but if you need money to do it, that's the way to do it.
And people say we're not informative.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm being informative about these tonic drinks. One's bang average, one's absolutely fucking disgusting. Never gave that a rating, by the way, because Mega Malt is slightly worse. No. Well, because Mega Malt is a 0.5 out of 10, that's a 1.
Oh, all right.
So we'll go with the chocolate one's a 1. This one, I'm going to smell it now, because obviously Ant said it was fragrant. Yeah, it's very mentholy. It's like if someone had watered down some Halls, extra strong. Yeah, this is
in there.
This isn't going to be fun, lads. It really isn't. Right, going for in anyway. Bottoms up.
Spirito Santo.
That one.
Oh, he's gone for seconds.
Will he go for thirds or fourths?
I don't know.
I am going to thirds, so I'm going to fucking drink this one.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full.
We have a winner. And I'm actually shocked because we don't you can't actually taste anything mentally.
And Bully's special prize.
Yeah. A full case of chocolate tonic drinks.
Come over here, see what you could have won. Come on. Come on, Janice. Come on, Margaret. Come on, boys.
I am not going to say.
I prefer the speedboat. You live in Tamworth. It's 200 miles from sea. Don't give a shit.
Take it back, boys. You've shit out. Take it back. Boom, 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 boom.
But yeah, I feel like I've spent the BFH on this. But yeah, I'm not going to say it's a party. I'm not going to say it is. What I will say is it's palatable. And it's not that far off bog standard tonic water.
Well, you saying it's palatable is very rare for sort of like, these taste tests.
It is very rare, actually. Very, very rare. I mean, there's you got this, for example. There's a couple of other drinks that I've had or foods that I've had which have been okay. And then we have the garlic bread. Rock. Where I nearly vomited.
Garlic bread? You're joking!
It's a taste sensation.
Sensation of what not to eat when you come to Blackpool.
That time when we gave Coxie Parma Violet Rock, if you remember. Oh, yeah. That was fun. But yeah, this, I'm not going to give it an amazing grade. It's going to be a 6 out of 10. It's drinkable. I wouldn't choose to buy it again, especially if there's other tonic drinks out there. If you choose to be wanting a tonic drink, I wouldn't recommend this over anything else. But if someone shoved it in your hand, they're going to use that. You can't go wrong, really. 6 out of 10. Go ahead. Have it. Chocolate one, fucking launch it. The other one's okay. This one's, yeah. And there's probably another, like I say, this is number 9, so God knows how many there are. So.
Well, we know there's a number 7.
We know there's a number 7. Yeah, so. There must be.
2 number 45s, 1 with cheese.
Just got visions of a bottles now with pieces like those slices of cheese just hanging out the top of it like a fucking lime. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll sip on that. So yeah, that was the old-fashioned R.A.D. taste test. I'm actually surprised that the weirdest sounding one was actually the nicest one. So yeah, that was that. So yeah, something else that we've obviously started off again, and we can both quickly talk about it now. I mean, Lewis gave it a quick go the other day. F1 season started.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Let me just address that now. Yes, that tune, great tune. It's better than the old one.
Yeah.
It will never, ever, ever replace the chain. Never.
No. I fully agree with that. Fully agree. Yeah.
He's never ever going to replace the chain. It will not ever happen. It can't happen, and it will not. I will not allow it to happen. Sky, get the rights to it, remix it, do what you want. I don't care. I just want that bass roll at the beginning and then the guitar solo. Don't care how you do it, just do it. Thank you. Yes, that. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway, go on. Before I get carried away.
Funny enough, I found a really good cover of it, but unfortunately, it didn't have the bass roll at the beginning. It just went straight into the guitar solo. I was like,
can't have that.
It's like rap thing. Have you seen Ren and Stimpy? Where you got the guy where he goes, "Oh, no, ain't that cute?" But it's wrong. It's like that's what I was like. But yeah, the F1 season started again, and yeah, I've been much less excited about it. If I'm brutally honest with you, because I got little bitty goosebumps, massive goosebumps. I turned on Friday testing, the Friday practice, and the first you see on the timesheet is MSC. And I'm like, oh, that's my childhood, that. Mm-hmm. That's my... Well, to be fair, it wasn't my childhood until 1997 when his brother came in, but those were the initials that was used for Michael Schumacher from 1997 onward. And I'm like, oh, that's goosebumps. So the last time I got goosebumps like that was when I saw the yellow helmet with green stripes on it again in a F1 car in 2010. And that was when Bruno Senna drove for HRT. So, yeah, I got massive goosebumps there. So, yeah, I was a very happy boy. Unfortunately, obviously, he's not got the machinery underneath him to do anything. But, like I was...
He's there, and it's a start.
This is it. I mean, Fernando Alonso started in a shit heap. Look where he ended up.
Mm.
End of the day, you've got to start somewhere. Mark Webber started in Minardi. He nearly won a world championship.
Mm.
People start at the back and move forward. In case of Haas, sadly for them, they've took established drivers and turned them into nothings. But this is the first time they've actually had rookies in the car, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, F1 back. What did we think? We'll go with Lewis because he watched a part of it, didn't he? I mean,
it was quite a chaotic start for the start of the Formula One season.
Everyone's favourite race driver at the minute. Or you were talking about what happened before that?
No, I completely forgot about the sort of the false start on the practice lap.
Oh yeah, when Perez pulled up.
Yeah.
He pulled on the side. He had to do a Control-Alt-Delete. Had the savvy to tell the marshal to do one.
Oh.
Because if that marshal laid hands on his car and moved him so much as a centimetre, he would have had to retire that car. Because you are not allowed to push start the car.
Mm.
He had the wear rule at that moment in time to tell the marshal not to touch his car. And he was back in the race.
Yeah.
And at that moment, when he started pushing his way through the field, proved what Albon was missing.
Yeah.
Killer instinct. That was Albon was missing. Albon had the raw pace when no one was there. I call it Sebastian Vettel syndrome. Vettel is world class when he has no one in front of him.
Yeah.
If there's someone in the way, he has an accident. Case in point, what happened this weekend just gone. And then he tries to blame it on the other driver who didn't move.
Oh yeah, was it Esteban Ocon?
It was.
In the Alpine, not the Alpine, the Alpine.
It is Alpine.
Because French people.
Yep.
I was about to say sort of like, Sergio Perez. He's sort of like, he's doing his parade lap. It's just sort of like, yeah, okay, new season, let's see what this car is going to do. Because that's pretty much what happened.
It was exactly what happened. But the thing is, though, it's amazing how, sometimes, your computer's being a bit slow and you give it a quick restart and next thing you know, it's flying again. That's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what happened. And the next thing you know, he starts him dead last from the pit lane, cold tyres from the start, the lot, puts the thing in 5th place. Driver of the day.
Yeah.
Did you get driver of the day in the end? Did you get driver of the day?
He won driver of the day, Perez.
Rightly so. There's a few that you could argue could have got Lando Norris and the McLaren once again doing
a job. He does a job.
I think they're onto a very, very good young driver there, and they'll do well to hold on to him, and hopefully can prove that McLaren, and that can be a top of the where it used to be not so long ago.
I think it's just British drivers in general at the minute. If I'm brutally honest with you, it's scary the talent that's out there at the minute.
It's amazing. It's such a high standard. I mean, to talk. The king of it all, Lewis Hamilton, obviously, we can go on. Then we go on to Lando Norris. We've got even George Russell, who somehow managed to get a Williams into Q2. How? That's borderline Jesus Christ miracle.
Dude, he had it running in the points at one point.
Yeah. I mean,
had that Williams running in the points. I mean, yeah, okay, he'd not pitted, and he was there, though. He was there. He put himself in a position where he could actually do something with it. But then obviously you go back, you've got Callum Ilott, and then you've got other people like Sam Bird and people like that. Yeah. Good drivers. I think you've got Mike Conway in WEC as well, who's really good.
Yeah.
As well. It's ridiculous, the talent that's available out there at the minute. That's British drivers. There's some ridiculously amazing, great drivers out there that's not British as well, obviously. You know, I mean, the guy that's just come in for AlphaTauri as well, that's Tsunoda.
Oh my God, what a race! What a bloody drive that for your debut was.
The thing
What
is,
a
though,
bloody
Japanese drivers, you tend to have one or two ways, either fucking chaotic,
yeah,
or they're chaotic, but bring results. For example, you could have drivers such as Yuji Ide, who managed to actually be the first person to lose their super license. And he did that by barrel rolling Christian Albers. But then you got people like Takuma Sato, who was the last person to win the Indy 500. Twice.
Yeah. I mean...
And, you know, Japanese, and then you also got Kobayashi as well, who was obviously handicapped with a really bad car in his last season, but the guy that, when Button won his world championship, gave him a fucking race and nearly spoilt the party for him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so easily forgotten, isn't it, because of what Button did, but...
Kobayashi had the race of his life that day, that's the last ever race for Toyota. But yeah, it's ridiculous. That guy is quick. If he gets a bit of polish on him and gets rid of some of these mistakes, I'm sorry, but if Perez doesn't bring the results, they've got a ready-made replacement already, and that's one race in.
Well, they've got the AlphaTauri is a great setup. They've obviously got a very, very, very good car. Yeah. They've also got two very, very, very good drivers. Now, the problem that Red Bull have now is they've got such a good driver setup.
Yeah,
I think personally, if Tsunoda carries this on and does the points like Pierre Gasly has done for AlphaTauri, at what point do them guys say? Because I know Gasly, because I've watched the Drive to Survive, I know he particularly has a chip on his shoulder regarding this. He's got to ask himself, am I too good to be driving a B-Tech Red Bull? Which is essentially what that AlphaTauri is. I'm not saying it's a bad car. It's a backup Red Bull at the end of the day. He's a backup Red Bull driver. That's all he is at the end of the day. Is that where he wants to be? Because that car's... Yes, exactly. That car's never going to challenge for titles. That car's never going to get him... obviously, he won in... Was it Monza last year?
Yeah, but that was exceptional circumstances as well. Let's remember. This is it.
If we put, he's another one, and he's one of these up and coming, amazing young drivers that I think deserves a better team and a better car. And I think Red Bull have really pissed on the chips here because Red Bull are very Verstappen orientated. That's been.
They have to be though. They have to be.
Well, this is the thing. Do they?
Yes. Yes, they do. Allow me to explain why. Verstappen, right, is homegrown. Verstappen has come through their drivers' rankings, they're through their youth academy, all that lot. Verstappen is their proof that their drivers' academy works.
To an extent.
But the problem with that is that he's like that. He's like, if you hyper focus on one driver, he is the proof. He is the shining diamond. Everyone else is coal in that thing, though, and we all know that. That's the problem. If you take a broader look at the whole academy, who's got the quality to push Max Verstappen? Gasly may be on his day, but he wilted, if we remember, when we was parted with Max Verstappen.
You're right, yeah.
That second car has a lot of pressure because it comes to the point where you're in that car, you have to be up there pushing Max Verstappen. You have to be up there. There is no drivers in that academy that's capable of doing that right now. That's the problem. Sainz wasn't capable of doing it, and he recognised that early and fucked off to get into better machinery if he could find it. Right? That's why he ended up going to...
He's at Ferrari now, isn't he?
Yeah, he originally went to McLaren. Oh, no, he went to Renault. He went to Renault first.
To Renault, then he was at... Oh, well, when was he then? No, he went to Renault, then he was at McLaren, yeah?
Yeah, then he went to Ferrari.
Yeah.
So that's why he went from there, because he's a product of the Red Bull Academy as well. His sites, Vettel is as well.
Yeah.
Let's not remember that. Vettel is as well. And when he stopped getting the results, Ricciardo is as well. He's another one that's escaped that. Because don't forget, he made his debut for HRT in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
He was still racing in Formula Renault 3.5 because I remember having my, I always say this, my full English breakfast sat one table away from Danny Ricciardo at Silverstone in the cafe that you can't access at Formula One because it's all sealed off. So I was like, I shouldn't be near it, well, you know. But
yeah, find out eventually.
Who's that fat shit that won't fit in the cockpit? He's not a driver. But yeah, he was a Red Bull Academy driver as well. Let's remember that because he came through Toro Rosso, and then came through. He partnered Bourdais, didn't he? Was it Bourdais? No, Bourdais was before then. I want to say Buemi, but it might be even before after that, or was it Kvyat? It might have been Kvyat.
Yeah, I don't know. Might be right there.
But yeah, he ended up partnered him with Vettel, blew him out the water, and Vettel got booted out, if you remember, to Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because they had their new shining diamond in Ricciardo. The next thing you know, Max Verstappen comes in as a 17-year-old. Let's remember that. Max Verstappen's only 22, I think.
23, I think. 23.
Yeah. 23, maybe.
Yeah.
This is the thing is sort of like, you know, I'm not as big of F1 fans as obviously you two, but I always gravitate to sort of like the underdogs of F1. So like for a time it was sort of like, you know, Verstappen when he very first started coming through for Red Bull, and you know he was sort of like getting, you know, those like 6-7 place, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can't remember whether it was qualifying or whether it was sort of like in terms of finishing, but I always sort of like made the case of just sort of like, you know what, with like a little bit of seasoning he can possibly be something. Yeah. And then I've sort of like, particularly like last season and seeing the bits and pieces that he's done with like stuff online and with sort of like charities, I've sort of gravitated to Lando Norris quite a little bit as well. There's very much sort of like a big caveat of young, hungry drivers who have got the potential to be like something fucking special.
Yeah.
And I mean, particularly with this sort of like this season opener, like, I mean, I really fucking like Max Verstappen, but I think it's what you pointed out, Paul. He was literally let down with the fact that Red Bull, in terms of sort of like racing strategy, were just so far fucking behind Mercedes that's what ultimately lost them the race.
Yeah, I won't take credit for that. That was Anthony that pointed that out. But yeah,
it was one of the two.
That's always been their. It's always been their weak point though. When their car hasn't been the quickest, they've always. It sounds daft. They've always come behind. But when Mercedes haven't had the quickest car, like they had this weekend, they've always managed to pull it around with strategy and being able to control the race. It's what their Mercedes are good at.
I think this season, I can't call it simply because Mercedes can't rely on managing every single. How many races is it this year? 23. So one's already gone down, so I'll call it 22. Can they honestly say that they're going to perfectly manage every single race? No. It was quite clear to me that Red Bull car is a threat. I'm not going to say it's faster. I'm not going to say it's quicker because obviously you don't know with tracks and
it depends on the circuit. Let's remember, we've only even in testing, we've only ran the one track.
Exactly, this is it.
We're going in 3 weeks. We're going to Imola. That's a different beast altogether.
I think that'll be the real test. I really, really do. But for just watching that first race, it was clear that Verstappen can win the title off Lewis.
He can.
It was very, very evident that Bottas is disinterested in his position in Mercedes. This is not Bottas with trying to catch up to Lewis. This is between. I generally do think this is strictly between Max and Lewis.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if Red Bull have learnt their lessons from this first race, which they need to do, they cannot afford to start playing catch up with Lewis Hamilton early on in the season, because if he gets in front and he gets a sniff, he is not going to let it up. Yes, he's going to have that Mercedes, he's going to DNF at some point, but he is always going to be consistently on that podium. You cannot afford to let him get that far. It might, yes, it's only one race win, but we've seen Lewis Hamilton now for so many years turn one race into two, into three, into four, and into a world title in that Mercedes car, doing what he does best. And I don't think Red Bull have a backup plan if that happens. I don't think Max Verstappen has a backup plan if that happens. I think Lewis gets on top, and I think if Lewis wins the next, or he's on the podium, of course he's going to be on the podium, I think Max has got to win one of these first three races, and he's missed out on the opportunity of one. I think he's got to win these next two for people to properly take him seriously, and just to put a little doubt in Lewis's mind, because the good thing that Lewis's strength is his mental strength. He believes he's number one. He thoroughly thinks that he's the best. He has every right to think that. He's confident at every track he turns up in. He's confident in every car he gets in. We're dealing with he's not very rumbled easily, because let's be honest, he's not really been rumbled, I don't think. I don't think he's been rumbled. I can't remember the last time he was. Probably when he won his... Rosberg was probably the last time he was genuinely rumbled, and I think that was what Max needs to do. Rosberg got on top of him. Rosberg got in his head. Rosberg started winning races, and then Lewis could never ever recover from that.
No.
And since then, Lewis has been on top, and no one's got near to him. Max has the best chance to do it, but boy, have Red Bull got to learn their lessons from this race, because if you fail to manage it properly, that's the only thing stopping is at the minute, because Max is just as good a driver as Lewis is. That car is on par-ish with Mercedes. And I think that Red Bull crew have really got to sort themselves out, because they're the ones that are going to cost Max a world title this year.
Yep.
Max isn't going to do it. That car isn't going to do it. That car's the best they've had since, I believe, Vettel last won the world title. I believe that's the best. I think it's the best it's got in years, and it's the only thing coming close to Mercedes.
Yeah,
so,
I have to agree.
Hopefully, they learn the lessons. But we proof is in the pudding. We'll see at Imola, won't we? When those 5 red lights go out.
Absolutely.
Because I don't believe the Basleys won at qualifying. Max is always going to be up there. That Red Bull's always going to be up there, unless it has a stonker in Q1 or Q2. I think the closest contenders to Red Bull are McLaren. And I say closest contenders. I'm being very nice saying that, because
best of the rest.
Best of the rest. This is it, innit? But yeah, I do strongly believe that everything is there for Red Bull and Max to win it this year. Everything is there. Bottas isn't going to challenge for that world title. He really doesn't want to, I don't think. I don't think he cares about Mercedes. I don't think he cares about Lewis. I think Mercedes know that, and I think it was quite telling when George Russell took the car last year.
Grand Prix, yeah.
The Sakir Grand Prix, yeah. Would that have happened if Lewis was in that car? Think about, to set your minds back, Russell, what happened to Russell was he had punches, he had a mixed tyre set that would have docked him the win anyway. An absolute plethora of errors by the Mercedes team. Would that have happened if Lewis was in the car?
Who knows?
Maybe. Let me tell you something. If it was to happen again, if I was George Russell and I'm watching all these faultless pit stops now by the Mercedes team, because let's be honest, they didn't put a foot wrong the rest of the season. They've not put a foot wrong this season. Would you get Would Russell take Bottas's seat?
Probably not.
He'd probably be wise to, because he'd probably be very wise to. I mean, George Russell, amazing driver, should have won the Sakir Grand Prix. Didn't, because of the Mercedes pit crew, and they let him down big time.
Yes, they did.
Wouldn't have happened. I believe it wouldn't have happened if Lewis was in that car.
Agreed. Speaking of stuff that Lewis did in that car, what do you think of the corner cutting situation?
The track limits, was it on turn 4, I believe?
Turn 4, yes.
I think the FIA were very sketchy in their explanation of and setting the rules anyway for the track limits.
Yep.
Lewis had every right to do it.
Yeah, everyone else was doing it.
Yeah, everyone else was doing it. I think Max used it and overtake, and he gained an advantage, which meant he had to give back the position. But it'd have been a 5-second penalty if he didn't. But if I was Max, surely I'd have just carried on. I'd have backed myself to get 5 seconds on him in the laps remaining, possibly. But
there wasn't. I think there was 3 laps left. I mean, you'd have to have gone a second and a half a lap or more. And then Lewis could have just turned the engine up and just kept up to him. Mm. So there's it's one of those things. We would never know. You'd never know. The way I see it is the rules weren't stringent enough. No one overtook on there. Managed to get past off the track there. The whole race up until there was 2 incidents that happened there in the whole race where someone was overtaking. Now, there was a situation where, I can't remember, it was Tsunoda was being overtaken by Ocon, I think. And he went off track, but...
Was it Gasly? It might have been Gasly. Because did Gasly lose his front wing?
No, I'm not sure. No,
I swear Gasly lost I think Gasly lost his front wing to clipping Ricciardo.
Yeah, that was at the start.
Yeah, that was it,
yeah. But this was a different one where they came round turn 4 and literally Ocon had nowhere to go. Mm. But he got the overtake finished in turn 5. So he was like, he got to keep the position, but he was forced off track and he was alongside. There was nowhere for him to go. If he turned him to go onto the track now, the race was over. Yeah. For both of them. What people are whinging about the Max Verstappen one is like, yes, he got off track, he gained an advantage, yada yada yada. But the fact of the matter is this: if he had overtaken took the corner in the manner that was supposed to have happened, then he wouldn't have got that move done. What you're essentially saying is, I don't have to brake as much, and I can just go around the outside here, off the track. But the thing is, he hadn't got the move done while he was on the track. He was done the move while he was off the track. That's like the equivalent of dribbling around a footballer, going over the sideline, bouncing it off the advertising hoarding, and doing a 1-2 off that, and then going past the player. You can't do that. The ball's out of play. It's the same as Formula 1. The 2 white lines on the edge of that track, and the curb, count as the track.
Yeah. I think the FIA didn't help themselves. They really didn't.
No. What you'll find in Imola, this coming race, is if all 4 wheels are beyond the white line or the curb, you're off track, and any advantage or positions gained, you have to give back or face a 5-second penalty.
I got the impression that the FIA were making it up as they went along. It only became an issue when commentators and teams were pointing it out. They really didn't bother any other time.
Yeah.
But they were very. I don't think it was Lewis's fault, because let's be honest, you want to win, you're going to take every advantage that you can get. And if no one said he couldn't do it, you know what I mean? You've got to be like that, because
that's what the drivers' standards meetings are for.
Yeah,
so, this is what you can and can't do, and that wasn't mentioned. It was an oversight by the FIA, and it's on them. Now we're going to call off the F1 very, very shortly, but here's the thing I need to bring up, and it's everyone's favourite driver, and I think Lewis can even contribute on this one. What's our thoughts on Mazza's spin?
Literally,
you spin me right round, baby, right round like a fucking hussy car. Right.
He's
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not even Haas. The Haas car is not great, but right. Here's the thing, right? He has got a brilliant record. Absolutely brilliant record.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
The way you were going into that is just sort of like one of those, he had sort of like a record as bad as Meghan Markle.
Ooh. Now, as much as a cunt
Made for each other, them
is. I was going to say, let's be fair. Let's not lump Mazepin in the same boat. Come on. But Mazepin, yeah, he's a bit of a douche canoe. But as I can say, yeah, I've lost my thought now. Oh, yeah, he's got a record. He's got the unenvious record of actually doing more formation laps than he has actual completed race laps.
Hey, Mazepin. What a day.
Yeah, he loves his donuts. But Barty Brundle, like, there was an infamous line that's sort of like in sort of F1 history by James Hunt when he was commentating with Murray Walker, God bless his soul. And it was a case of talking about Delatraz, some guy called Delatraz or something like that, a driver that wasn't very good. He was holding everyone up, essentially. He was basically a mobile chicane where he was getting lapped. And Murray was talking about there was some debate about the talent of this driver, and James Hunt went, well, it won't be a very long debate then, will it? On air. And it was a case of something like that, and Martin Brundle came out of an absolute fucking belter. Because I don't think he's a fan of Mazepin at all.
I don't think anyone is.
No, and he says, and I quote, if you've got a car that's slow, what are you doing flooring it like that on the first corner?
He's right, though. He's spot on.
It's like, your car's that bad anyway, so why would you waste your time and just floor it? And you're going to get mugged anyway. It's like, I love Martin Brundle. He's brutal as fuck. You know, I remember when he first started cutting his teeth alongside Murray Walker in 1997, and he was pretty similar to what he was like on the 1997 F1 video game, where his whole line was, "You're right there, Murray." Yeah, now he's a salty bastard. I love it. He's brutal. If he doesn't like someone, he'll tell you. And I think we're in for a season of fun with Mazepin. I really do. But here's the thing. I have watched Drive to Survive, and it's clear that Gene Haas doesn't have the money, or if he does have the money, he doesn't want to spend it on the F1 team anymore because they're not producing results. This season isn't going to be any better. I can see Mazepin's dad buying the team and he being the Russian version of Lance Stroll. Having the drive despite talent. Well, to be fair, though, Lance Stroll does have a modicum of talent. He can actually drive the car. He's not the greatest pay driver in the ever. That honour goes to Pedro Diniz. But yeah, it's going to be another one of these guys that keeps genuine talent out of a seat, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I am expecting to see him be the Master Maldonado. The Russian Maldonado, shall we say.
The Russian Maldonado.
So yeah, F1's back. I'm loving it. I love my F1. I love all my motorsports, so I'm a happy bunny. So yeah, I think we should start slowly wrapping it up now because we've hit nearly 2 hours, and I think maybe we should take one of your topics.
I was hoping to sort of like get my one and only topic.
Go for it.
That I had initially for the last show, but then we got overrun with talking about like wrestling and then into NFL and then sort of like, you know, all that stuff rolled into one. So one of my, I want to say like childhood obsessions was I was a great big massive mark for Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, yes.
Not only sort of like the Railway series books, but also predominantly the TV show.
I have a gold Thomas the Tank Engine, by the way.
Indeedy.
Your move.
Yes. So, yeah, it was a significant part of my life growing up. And it sort of like went through its up and downs here, there, and everywhere. One of the things that they predominantly did is they switched from models into sort of like CGI, which at the time wasn't like a massive fan of, but I always sort of like say as long as you're creating good content for it, it doesn't really matter to an extent. And from what I read, from what I research about, there is sort of like a gap from sort of like season 18 through to 2021 where there was that high standard quality. But it came to light at the end of the 24th season that Mattel, who are the owners of sort of like the rights to Thomas the Tank Engine, they were looking to shake things up a little bit. And they have gone all corporate on it. If you research sort of like trailers for what they're doing with Thomas the Tank Engine going forward, they have done a great big massive fucking Paw Patrol on it. They have made it look so generic, so unrealistic, and yeah, it's taken something that was rather unique, rather heralded to me, especially as a kid, and took a great big massive corporate shit on it. So my question to you two would be, is there anything in particular from your childhood, whether it be sort of like films, franchises, TV shows, games, toys, that have been subsequently ruined the older that you have got?
Ooh.
Now then.
Because that's my contributing article to it.
Oh no, it's a good one. This
That is a cracking one, because a lot of the stuff I used to watch as a kid doesn't air anymore.
Exist anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. I do have two sort of, and one of them actually I remember going back in the time, and it was what you was actually on this show, Lewis, where we towards the latter ends of WrestleBox in its original form, we used to try and introduce a question or a topic which wasn't wrestling related, and one of them was Thunderbirds, if we remember. Yes, and back at the time they was just releasing the new CGI Thunderbirds, if we remember correctly, and I was like praising it to the heavens because it's actually not bad. And in subsequent time, and I've watched it, and to the point now there is more CGI episodes than there are the old-fashioned puppet type. Now, there wasn't many puppet type anyway. Now, I've watched it, and all I can say now is when I see the CGI one, I want to basically get the nearest metal scourer and scrape it over my eyes.
I can hear the pain in your voice. It's really quite... Can I just also say the fucking live action film, that can piss off. What the hell was that, guys? Sweet, if Bussy did the fucking theme song, have you heard that?
I'm not afraid to admit I was a Busted fan back in the day.
Yeah,
I went to see them live. It was fucking great.
I was more entertained by the contents of my feet the last time I clipped my toenails. I mean, everything was it was along the lines of the Scooby-Doo film that they did as well at the same time, like that.
It's somehow got a sequel.
I've got a question to make on that one. I saw that piece of shit in the cinema.
Oh.
You paid money for that?
I did pay money for that, and I regretted it afterwards instantly.
Oh, so Meghan Markle's starting to look like a fucking saint round here, to be honest.
I know. is
Fuck me.
on the line of Busted. By the way, I saw them play live on the beach, and it was them, and it was Liberty X.
Oh, you've had it rough, you haven't you? Fuck.
And they had like a CBBC had like a road show that they had going on all the beaches in the summer holidays, and they were doing like a tour. And they came to Blackpool. Obviously, we was there on the Saturday. We just thought, fuck it. You're supposed to pay to watch it, but we managed to sneak in.
Yeah.
You know. But we watched it, and we watched Liberty X mime the worst miming I've ever seen in my entire life. But then Busted was there, and they were actually passable. So go figure. So
Speaking of Liberty X.
Liberty.
Oh God.
I love this.
I do.
What am I? Tell me again. What have I got? What have I hit?
That's right. It's party time.
Yeah, it's party time at the fucking Copacabana.
But yeah, that was my first one, Thunderbirds. It's like the bastardised it. But the other one to me is possibly even more sort of like soul destroying.
There's an interesting little factoid. Since you brought up Thunderbirds, you know the bloke who voiced Scott?
Yes.
He has a feature role in the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me.
All right.
Where that was going there, that you're going to say he's in some porno or something. I was like, oh no, nothing ever good comes to this. Nothing ever good comes from a fact that starts like that. Nothing ever.
But yeah, it's one that's also a bit more soul destroying for me than that, because at one point it was actually decent, and then it just disintegrated upon itself. This, on the other hand, is just pure shite. What they've done to it. I used to be an avid Pokemon fan. I used to play the games, things like that. I used to even watch the anime at one point. Yep. You know, you'd go home from school, you'd watch it. The original Indigo League one, not the
first season. You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. It's amazing.
Can I also make a case for Pokemon Johto?
Is that the silver, gold, and crystal?
Possibly.
I think it is. Johto Kanto, yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll accept that. That is good. That is some good shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animes. I'm more specifically talking about the anime series, more or less so the games. The games have got to evolve over time. They've got to add features. They've got to add Pokemon. Yada yada yada. You name it, you've got to do it. The premise of the original cartoon, right, was I am a kid. I want to collect Pokemon, but I also want to be the best, strongest Pokemon trainer in the world and be recognized as such.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what the fuck this program is called. I know that it's on I think it's on Netflix. It might be on Netflix. I know it's on like Pop Max or something like that. I don't know if it's Pokemon Sun and Moon, whatever it is. I don't know. I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
They're really running out of ideas for names, aren't they? Sun and Moon, Sky and Floor.
Settee and Chair. But yeah.
Chair or stool.
Cardamom or chocolate. But yeah, as
sweet corn.
Yeah. But they've turned it into what I can only describe as shit. If you crossed Pokemon with Paw Patrol and Power Rangers.
Oh, I'm going to go on a rant about Power Rangers in a minute.
And it's just not. Power Rangers is another one, by the way. Thank you.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you can't fucking beat.
Everything after Mystic Force was a fucking travesty.
No. Mystic
Force was passable, can we just say? Everything after that needs shooting up.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Death Squad it. I don't care.
Right. I'm gonna shelve Pokemon because yes, it's just shit. There's no debate about that now. This is shite. Can we all just agree that the pinnacle of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was the story arc of the evil Green Ranger? Can we please?
Yes,
can we please
yes.
all agree to that?
Yep.
I mean, it was shit when Rita Repulsa had the candle and the Green Ranger was essentially fucking useless until he became the White Ranger. Can we all agree on that as well?
Well, that was the thing about the original Power, because you had the the Red Power Ranger that was red, the Blue Power Ranger, the Yellow Power Ranger, the Pink Power Ranger, the Black Power Ranger, and the the Power Ranger that wears white. It was really funny.
The thing is, what you don't realise,
I'm not going to say the original Power Rangers was racist, but let's have a look at this. The Black Power Ranger was the Yellow Power Ranger was
Asian.
Yeah. And Zordon was a big, massive cloud in the sky. The robot thing had clearly had tics, and some form of mental disorder.
The Pink Power Ranger was probably my first childhood crush.
No, Jet out of Gladiators. Sorry,
Jet.
I wasn't watching Gladiators at that time.
Oh, well, you've obviously missed out on a lot then. Pal.
Thank you. You've just
I'm not being funny. Can you ever reflect?
No, because
every lad wanted to be on Hang Tough against Jet and just hang there like fucking come and get me, love. That's every fucking man's for. Because have you seen
your arms around me?
Oh, it was legs, arms, everything. It just and she proper fucking give it to him as well. You know what I mean?
She land on your face as well. You'd be like, oh, that's not a bad thing.
Every lad in the 90s wanted to play Hang Tough with Jet and just have her tug you off.
It's like she lands on your face and you're just sort of like, don't feel any rush to sort of like get up, love.
But yeah, Gladiators is another one, by the way. Yeah, that's another one they ruined, by the way. That is another one they ruined.
Yeah, amen.
And the original Power Rangers wore fucking Shadow with his roid rage and the fucking pupil sticks. All that shit. Amazing.
Lightning's a bodybuilder now. Just to update you on that. She's proper bodybuilder, but she's still rocking it, by the way.
Yeah. All them lot, brilliant, amazing. And then they redid it on Sky One.
And Ulrika Johnson shagged them all. Every last one of them.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
She had every last one of them. Let's be bleeding honest here.
Oh, God. But yeah, Sky One tried to redo it, and the only decent thing to come out of it is Nick Aldis. That is it. That is a lot. For fuck's sake, you had Ian Rush presenting it, and I mean, he's insufferable in anything other than football punditry, and even then, it's just with a pinch of salt. You just see, I'm just like going.
I'm just having to think about who was the woman presenter as well, because they had a man presenter who was here, and then
Caroline Flack.
Oh.
I'm still going to shit the program. I'm still going to shit on the program.
Who was the referee? Was it?
John Anderson.
John Anderson.
Yeah.
God bless him. God bless him.
You'll go on my first whistle. You'll go on my second whistle.
I can't say, when I was in primary school, one of the girls I was in class with, her mum actually got to the final in Gladiators. Nice. So I got to go to the actual thing and watch it. That was pretty fucking cool. Also, do you remember Vogue? She follows me on Instagram. Don't know why. She's obviously seen something she likes. She's obviously into...
Maybe she wants to play Hang Tough against you.
With all due respect, love, absolutely not. As far as I'm concerned, it's Jet or nothing for me. It's not, I'm all Jet. I'm either all Jet or all out. There we go. And if I'm all Jet, I'm all in. Good night, everybody.
To put it into wrestling terms, maybe, can we say that Jet is the Trish Stratus of Gladiators?
Oh, because Jet was talented and had a bit of class. Trish just walked down with her nads out, let's be honest. What was she really? Oh, she grabbed someone's head and jumped off a middle rope. Well done, love. You fucking managed to do that. Jet
I retract my statement.
Jet can do cartwheels and shit.
I don't allow you to retract your statement. Because I agree with said statement.
Jet can do cartwheels and do flips and shit. That was impressive. She could climb up that wall thing that was 1,000,000 feet in the air. She could do it in like 10 seconds, honestly. And Powerball. Oh my God. Also, do you remember that big... Sorry, I'm a massive Gladiator geek. But they had this like, massive ball and it just swung. Pendulum, that was it.
You had to chase each other and grab flags. Yeah.
Oh no, actually, I can't really contribute because I've never really watched any of the rebooted series.
Don't watch the rebooted one.
No. But you cannot beat some classic Crystal Maze.
Absolutely. It's on BritBox now, if you've all got BritBox.
And Richard Ayoade has absolutely destroyed it.
Yes, God bless. With that stupid fucking hand thing, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I can't comment because I haven't watched it.
This is what I mean. Balding men make the best presenters.
They do.
There's a long line of us going down towards the Middle Ages, actually. Just making shit up there. I don't know why I said that. It just sort of...
Please give us examples for the Middle Ages, sir.
It sounded really good, though, didn't it? It sounded really good. I sort of panicked then. I thought, I've got to make shit up there.
Yeah, you look... It was amazing because you could see your brain going, abort. It's like, no, I'm too far in this now.
No, I am too far in this. Hang on, just give me a second. Just cover for me. Cover. Ad lib.
But yeah, Crystal Maze is shocking. I mean, I saw a couple of celebrity specials, and then I saw what I can describe as a normal episode, and it's not the same. We need Richard O'Brien. It's not the same without him. It needs to be the same. It's like if you had Takeshi's Castle without Takeshi.
Without Craig Charles.
Yeah, you had it with Jonathan Ross for a while, didn't you? And it was not the same.
Oh, he can get in the bin as well. Jonathan Ross. Oh, pronounce your R's, you stupid idiot. Fucking hell, get a grip.
But yeah, it's not. Takeshi's Castle's always been fun. But it has to be Craig Charles. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I can't say anything. Family fucking Fortunes, actually. Family Fortunes is awful.
That nowadays. Was such. Nowadays it was crap back then. I mean, come on, what was? Jesus, it's funny in America. Steve Harvey, God bless him. He's actually
Steve Harvey.
He's amazing
at that. G.
But who've we got now? Gino Di Pissing Campo.
Exactly.
Now, I love Gino. I've got
all your cookbooks, by the way, Gino. If you are listening, which you're most certainly not. But if by the off chance that you are, I do have all your cookbooks.
On the off chance that you watch sort of like Family Feud stuff. Did you see the latest one where they had sort of like it was like NFL Hall of Famers versus NFL like breakout stars, and it was the Hall of Famers that got through to sort of like the big money round, and it was like this one legend, this one like Hall of Famer is sort of like is the second person to contribute sort of like his answers, and I think the question was something along the lines of like if Edward Scissorhands was like a handyman, name a tool that would be on sort of like one of his fingers. And he initially went with, I think like hammer, because that's but that answer had already been given. And then there's literally a pause, and like the one guy just goes penis, and Steve Harvey like continues like with the second question. He's just sort of like from 1 to 10, named sort of like and then it sort of clicks in his head, and he sort of like goes, this is how he does it. It's sort of like. Name an age group and sort. What the fuck did he just say? What the? I'll have to get. I'll tell you what. I'll get it up first, sort of like after we start recording. But it's fucking. He's a golden gem. He's a fucking golden gem, Steve Harvey. I fucking love him.
Knight him.
I can't think of anything else. I think what was
Sherlock
amazing.
Holmes. God Almighty! I have every single fucking book down there, yeah, including the Anthony Horowitz version that he did with the blessing of the Conan Doyle family, by the way. Not these fucking shams that you see on TV and in bookshelves these days. Let me just talk to you what they've done to fucking. When I was growing up, they had an amazing TV series with Jeremy Breton. God bless him. He was the most amazing Holmes. I've watched all the original movies as well, which are black and white with Basil Rathbone in, and amazing Holmes. Even though he's American, he did it quite well. I feel slightly sick. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't that bad either. That was okay. I can accept that, even though it was slightly actionized for the Hollywoody people. Jude Law and Amazing Dr. Watson as well. However, what Netflix has done with it this time, what they've done is they've taken the Irregulars. If you don't know what the Irregulars are, the Irregulars were Holmes' little group of orphaned children who would just run around getting little information, which was just a common back in Victorian time, getting information for him, helping him out, etc., etc. They've taken the story of the Irregulars and turned it into what I can only describe as a shit version of Charmed. They've given them all superpowers, and they go out hunting. It's basically a bunch of Derek Akoras going out to find fucking whatever now. Holmes somehow has a beard. Never had a beard. Never has, never will. I'm disgusted by it. It's madness and it's mental. Also, while I'm on it, BBC, please don't do another Sherlock. Please don't.
Yeah, it's the Sherlock series from BBC jumped the shark like halfway through series 2.
The good thing about Holmes was, and the most amazing thing about Holmes was, he was such a clever and intelligent individual who read on books. He relied on books and in his own intelligence and what he gained. He didn't just Google the nearest fucking computer and put the answers and got the answers from there, did he? No, he didn't. He didn't go and get he did go and get fingerprints, but he analysed them himself and not through a pissing, whizzing computer. That was the best thing about Holmes. And when you take Holmes into the modern, he doesn't have to do it anymore. He doesn't have to think for himself. He's not clever anymore. He's just Captain fucking Google.
I like that new nickname of Sherlock Holmes, Captain Google.
Only Benedict Cumberbatch is one. Oh, Cumberbatch is one. I don't fucking know his name. Honestly, please don't. I feel so, that was my thing growing up, and I've got the whole DVD set of Jeremy Brett's Holmes. I've got all Basil Rathbone's films that he did on, and they're all black and white. I adore Sherlock Holmes. But for the love of God, what I hate even more is people come out and go, oh, you know what? It's actually quite good, actually. No, it's fucking not. It's shit. It's shit. And if people just got honest with themselves and realised how stupid it is, you know what? If it wasn't the Irregulars and had nothing to do with Sherlock Holmes, probably a great idea, probably a great story. I'd probably get into it. But because they've linked it with him and they've linked it with the Irregulars, if the Irregulars were just orphans, they didn't have any superpowers, didn't have any mystic abilities. They weren't little fairies flouncing around in the little fucking pond, and they didn't do anything like that. They didn't chant spells or incantations. They didn't hunt for vampires. They were just kids trying to help the world's greatest detective, and they've turned him into fucking whatever that was. It's like, why? They didn't have to do it. Yes, Big E. Yes, Big E. Yes. I'm utterly heartbroken by it because there's people out there that are going to think that the original version is shit because it's not that. Oh, it's just just get a fucking Netflix and BBC can fucking get in the bin.
Except Line of Duty. Line of Duty is actually really fucking good.
I don't watch anything the BBC have to offer. I really don't, because to the BBC, apart from MasterChef, you can keep MasterChef. Keep doing that. All right. MasterChef's good. MasterChef's good, but we need to build around that now so you can do stuff properly. And ITV, while I'm on it, Family Guy, you're doing well. AEW, fantastic, well done. But I can hear Bunkle in my I can feel my inner Bunkle going, you're a cunt, you're a cunt, you're a cunt, you're a cunt.
Anthony!
Surprisingly enough, that's what inner Bunkle says a lot of the time.
Wouldn't really surprise me.
They've got Gordon, Gino, and Fred going on. That's a good TV series. Go on that. But you do this horrible daytime stuff, which I quite do not like. Just stop the daytime stuff. You got rid of Jeremy Kyle. Well done. Took you long enough, but you did it in the end. Well done. It's like that bloke who's got a really toxic girlfriend. Yeah, and we know she's been a dick. We know she's sleeping with other fellas. Yeah, but he won't have it. He's not going to listen to it. The fella was ITV in that situation, and the shit girlfriend was Jeremy Kyle. We just had to get rid, and they were brave enough one day and just got rid. Anyway, that's the best way I can explain it to the public. That's the way my brain works, people.
I'm actually quite lucky in a way, because all my stuff that I used to watch as a kid has stayed in the past.
Yeah.
You know, all the stuff I used to enjoy, like Funhouse, things like Finders Keepers.
Did they have the twins on at Funhouse, the blonde twins?
Yes, they did. Things like What's Up, Doc. Things like, well, How's come back, but it's actually not too bad. Things like Art Attack.
Oh, yes, that was good. What was that shaking Clay head about? That's quite disturbing now when I look back on it, and I thought that was quite funny. What the fuck's that?
Programs like Nightmare have stayed back.
That was good.
You know, that was a really good show.
Do you remember Raven?
Yes, I do remember Raven, but it wasn't. It wasn't a show.
Raven was a good.
But the thing is, though, it was not a thing on Nightmare. It really wasn't. It was okay. Don't get me wrong, but it was no Nightmare.
I do love how I generally thought them kids were going to die as well when they lost all of that. You know, you think, oh my god, he's going to die. And when that fucking creepy witch thing came up against him at the final battle or something, I did that. I thought, oh god, he did. and look about, because it's on YouTube, and I watched an episode with Manda, and so look when I watched when I was a cool kid, and and she just looked at it like it's a bit shit, and I was looking at it, I thought, no, because the Raven guy was actually quite cool, and I thought he was really cool. But when I looked at it, it is just like a set of tires. There was one challenge where they had to like build a bridge over a stream. It is they could have stepped over it. They honestly could have stepped over it. And if I was, and I genuinely felt like, honestly, these kids can't do the simplest fucking jigsaw. Let's be honest, they don't deserve 9 lives if I'm going to be very honest. Looking back, they didn't deserve 9 lives. They were very
fuck 9 lives. Nightmare, you had 1, and then you lose that, you're done. Yeah, that was better. I think in the whole series, like the whole run it had, I think they only had like 6 winners. It was challenging. I loved that program. It was challenging. It was great, and I don't think it was aimed at my age group when I watched it, but I watched it anyway.
Oh, another Raven-esque program, but this time from ITV, Jungle Run.
Oh yes, that was with. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Stephen. Oh no! I was thinking Stephen Mulhern, but
it's Michael Underwood.
Yes,
that's the.
I remember Michael Underwood because there was a program. It was on BBC, and he won a contract for a year working for CBBC on a game show. And he obviously stopped working for BBC, went to ITV, started working, doing Jungle Run and all that jazz. But I don't think I think he's a teacher now. So yeah,
it's gone fucking very downhill for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, but yeah, I say I was very lucky. All my stuff stayed in the past, really. So
yeah,
I'm a lucky fucker.
Beyblade was a good one for me. Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh.
I never watched those.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Can I just say they've absolutely bastardized Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh.
The latest one that I've seen, the dual discs have turned into dual bikes.
Yeah, car games on motorcycles.
Just have the dual discs like they had back in the day. They were cool. That we always wanted one of them. And the Beyblade as well. What do you mean? Why? because I want to
Because
stand in the
corporate.
No, why the bikes? Why the bikes?
Oh,
It doesn't make
Corporate,
sense.
that's why.
corporate, yeah, because they want to sponsored by Harley Davidson. So
There you
fuck
go.
Harley Davidson.
There you go. See, I
just attacked Harley Davidson for no reason.
I was gonna say sort of like, you know, the showrunner had like a self-obsession with Sons of Anarchy and sort of like combine the two.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
How can I make this a thing? Oh, I know. I'll put it on a bike. There we go.
Yeah. So one thing, it's not necessarily from my childhood because I watched it when I was, me early 20s, was Naruto. And I'm very, 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 very worried because I stopped watching Naruto at the end of Naruto. Now, that sounds like a logical thing to do. But the story continued with his son, Boruto, and I am extremely worried about watching it. And I want to get into it, and like I say, I'm worried that it's going to be completely different and not what I'm expecting.
I am sticking on the anime track. I am quite sort of like hesitant with the live action remake of Cowboy Bebop. Because Cowboy Bebop as an anime is fucking outstanding. It's fucking great.
Really, see, I've not watched it. I need to. It's one of them. It's like a staple along with things like Ghost in the Shell and Spirited Away and things like that. It's staple, and it's something I've not done. Another one that I haven't done as well is Dragon Ball Z. But I need to do that.
Yes. Dragon Ball Z, I can understand because there's just so much.
Well, just do normal Dragon Ball Z with the Panasonic sort of dub, which is apparently the way to watch it. Actually, better than the Japanese dub, apparently. I'm one of these dickheads that has to watch that anime in Japanese with subs. So
fair enough.
I'm one of them because if you look, for example, my example, Naruto, the voices don't match the character in an English dub, and it just throws me out of it. Whereas if in Japanese, you got a Japanese show, you got casted by Japanese people, the voices are going to match the characters. So, yeah, I've watched every single episode of Naruto with subtitles.
I think Yu-Gi-Oh did better with that because in an ultimate turn of sadness in my life, I watched the tournaments on YouTube of people playing it, and every year they do a thing with the voice of Yami Yugi and the voice of Seto Kaiba. They do like a stage sort of dual thing with the voices, and it's really quite cool. And I can admit I got a bit of a kick out of it, and it was very sexy. It was very, very cool. And for me, you can't beat that because that's like real. It's like he's there and he's doing the thing and he's saying the things and Seto's there and they're playing the card game. And
oh dear me!
But the crowd are looking up and they're going, "What?" It's clearly staged, obviously, but they're going, "Whoa!" Brilliant.
I think Ant's getting excited. And I think on that note. I think on that note, I think we better start wrapping up because we've been at this now for 2.5 hours.
You lucky bastards.
You lucky gates. Overshot by now because I was planning for this to be 2 hours. But oh well. It's amazing what you can do when you end up ranting and raving. But so yeah, I think we should get some plugs in. And I think, seeing as the guy who's had the most success on social media this week, I think Ant should start first.
Yay! Yeah, right. Follow my TikTok. It's at The Annoying Husband. I come up now where I found when you just type in The Annoying, my videos will come up now. So just type in The Annoying or search The Annoying Husband and I will come up. I'm currently on my 204 followers now. Well, hey. Oh, God. Sorry, I'm playing one of my videos there. That was where I hit my stepdaughter on the head with a thing to the Friends theme song. I thought that was very funny. Apparently not. You can fuck off. You're not a member of me. Don't follow me Instagram because that's personal. Don't look at me on Facebook because I don't have a real name. Yeah, just follow me TikTok. Really, that's where I am at. That's where I am at.
That's where it's at.
And also, you can leave messages of goodwill to my wife on there as well if you want. God bless her. She puts a lot. Just if you want to donate some money to us, you'll more than accept it.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm done.
Right. All right. So Lewis, go ahead.
I don't broadcast regularly on Twitch because I've taken sort of like a Twitch sabbatical. But I am available on Twitch. I'm also available on YouTube, where I do sort of like Star Wars themed podcasts like every couple of weeks or so. It's also probably going to be the destination for when I'll be doing if I'm not back in work before then, fingers crossed, where I'll potentially be doing my watch along of the NFL draft, and I may very well be getting some members of the R.A.D. podcast involved in that as well.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And I'm also available on Twitter as well, where I debate anything from the two kinds of football that I watch, i.e. American football and soccer, as well as pro wrestling and just anything else, really. All three of those platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, I'm available at the username at loggers109.
Awesome. But yeah, you can obviously find us, the R.A.D. Live podcast, on all the good podcast catchers out there. You know, you're probably listening to us now, so you're thinking, why are we telling you? Tell your friends. We're on Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, Apple Music, Podbean, probably Castbox. Yes, we're on Castbox. We're on there. You name it, we're probably on there at some point. We're on Twitter at UKRAD Podcast. We also have a Facebook page. Ant has his hand up.
I was just acknowledging you. Yeah.
Ah, fair play.
Yeah, pouncing.
But yes, we're on Facebook. You can find us on there. You can find, obviously, the stable of podcasts. You can find the Lost Art of Wrestling, Lost Art of Podcasting with their usual Twitter handles. It's Lost. I can never remember their Twitter handles because I'm a bad co-host. Give me a moment. I will find it because...
We're so professional.
I don't do professional.
Bringing you comedy tin every fucking week.
Absolutely.
Lost Art of Wrestling is at LAOW Podcast.
Thank you.
And Lost Art of Podcasting is literally just Lost Art Podcast.
Thank you. You'll find on that feed the Phoenix Pod as well, which me and Lewis are a part of. And we have just finished episode 6 of Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere, our season finale.
Indeed.
And as mentioned, coming up soon on the streams, you will find the links for it on there. Eventually, you will find me making an absolute prat of myself doing the exercise video, Max and Paddy's Power of 2. Also, you can find me occasionally when the storyline requires a horrible little bastard. Steve the Betrayer, Steve Avatar of Poseidon. You can find him and all the other great cast members on Gunpowder, Treason, No Plot. You can find them on Twitter at Treason No, and you can find our good friend Bunkle on there. Hopefully not
dirty
poorly.
Stinking bunk. Dirty stinking bunk. Dirty stinking bunk.
And this time he might not be calling Anthony a cunt this time.
Everyone else is.
Well, we've got another recording on Friday, so just don't speak too soon.
We should have like the cuntometer just like here.
Yes. My monitor is. Like I said, my monitor isn't big enough.
We'll make it big enough.
I'll have to I can rotate my monitor, so I should be able to actually just, if you can do it as a sliding bar, it should be okay.
Perhaps I might be able to do one wall of fucking living room by the time the end of the recording's gone. I'll start in top corner. Now here.
Oh dear. Yeah, so I think, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you very much for having me as per usual.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
And all that's left to say is I've been definitely stupid and, depending on your viewpoint, very sexy.
I've been stowing away quite privately.
And I've just been here. So, sorry. This is therapy for me. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Arse.